on, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. It's your girl, Bex.
And I'm Carly.
And we're here to deliver content to unlock your mindset and actions to be limitless. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And like we always say, ring the bell notification so you can be notified when we're dropping gems just like this.
All right. We are back. Where have we been, Bex?
So I had COVID. I was sick, very sick for the last week. So yeah, it got me. The Rona got me, man. But yeah, we're back. We're back.
Just 1 week off. Glad you're better.
Thank you.
Getting better on the mend. But yeah, all back to business. And we are kicking this week off with somebody I didn't actually think we'd be talking about anytime soon. But actually, when I sat back and thought about it, I went, no, she's an actual boss. Kim Kardashian. So Kim Kardashian, as you've probably seen in the news, recently passed the baby bar. And this is it was her fourth attempt in doing so. And it was over 2 years, I believe it was. But like I say, when I normally think of Kim Kardashian, I think of clothing, makeup, fashion. But actually, ultimately, though they're things I'm not necessarily interested in, what she's done with herself as a brand and businesses, she's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur, and that I've got to definitely applaud her. And the fact she's doing this on top of all of that is incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I was reading something that she hasn't gone the conventional route. So she hasn't gone to like a law school, as it were. It's more like an apprenticeship route, I believe.
Yeah.
She's studying like 10 hours a day. She's on Zoom calls for 4 hours a day. So she was saying as well in a couple of posts, like, this was not handed to her. I don't think that this has been handed to her, which has been proven in the times that she's failed. She hasn't just been passed to go on and study law. So she said that she's spending time away from her kids and whatnot in order to get what she is setting out to get. So I think it's pretty sick, man.
Definitely. And I was just looking at her post. So, and she says here, looking in the mirror, and I'm really proud of the woman looking back into the reflection. For anyone who doesn't know my law school journey, no, this wasn't easy or handed to me. I failed this exam 3 times in 2 years, but got back up each time and studied harder and tried again until I did it. I did have COVID on the 3rd try with 104 fever, but I'm not making excuses. Like that alone, that mentality, how many people would have just been like, nah, 3 times, I'm out. And she was like, no, I'm going to pass this. And she did. Amazing.
It's so sick, and like, especially with her dad being a lawyer as well previously. So I just think it's really good. Like you said, she's still going. Like the fact that she still had the faith within herself to be like, no, I can do this. Or because most, like you said, most people be like, maybe this just ain't for me. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe like I just can't.
I kind of feel I'd be like that. All right, 3 times, I'm out.
Yeah. But I also wanted to just highlight that you can get to the same destination even if you choose unconventional ways of going about it as well. You're not always going to go through the college and university. It might be something different. So just if you've got a dream, then just go for it, man. Be willing to put yourself out there as well.
And I was just looking a little bit about the baby bar in general, because we'll share a few role model lawyers as well that we've been researching. But you actually only normally get 3 attempts, but all the June students got given a final chance because of COVID. So she's lucky she got given that 4th attempt and she made it count, which is incredible. But like you were mentioning, it's a day-long test for aspiring lawyers in the state who obviously aren't going that traditional route. And it's usually done in June or October. So this is what it comprises. So you've got both an essay and a multiple choice questions, with 4 hours allotted for completing the 4 essay question portion of the exam, and 3 hours for 100 multiple choice questions. The subjects are contracts, criminal law and torts, and only students studying law through an apprenticeship or an unaccredited law school do that, as you said. But then I looked at some stats on the pass rate. So only 20.7% of 275 candidates who took it in June passed. And that's compared to 53% who passed the general bar exam. So it's almost like that route is slightly harder, but which would make sense because obviously they've not gone down the usual route, and you want to make sure someone that is now taking that next step really has what it takes. So I get it, but that's incredible. 21% of people passing it, and she's one of them. Wow.
That's crazy. Yeah, fair play. Like that's hats off, man. Proper hats off. And not just that, like not just the fact that she's studying to be a lawyer, but the fact that she's pushed for so many releases of people that have had like first offenses. Like I think, like for me, I don't care if you're using your fame, your recognition of what you've built as yourself as a brand in order to do good in the world. Like I think that you are just simply an amazing person, because you could just be a bystander like everybody else and continue with your life and with your 100%. Wealth and all the rest of it. So yeah, 100%. Man, fair play.
I'm just gonna crack on. This is my bubble. That's not my problem. But she was like, no. And I remember her announcing it, and people would like pretty much taking the mick, weren't they? Like, yeah, all right. So I think in 2019 she announced it, and she wants to do criminal justice reform. And like you said, following in her dad's footsteps, and she's already, without even passing it, has been involved in cases and helping them win. Like, yeah, it's going to be cool to see how she gets on now, and obviously she's going to move on to the next phase. So very, very cool.
All right, yeah, so the first person that I'm going to speak about is Wald Alcarini. And she was part of the first wave of Saudi Arabia female lawyers. So she actually pursued a legal career whilst actually knowing that she couldn't practice law. And it was at a time when Saudi Arabia women were forbidden to officially practice law, which I think is just crazy. However, she found it super interesting, and always in the back of her mind, she always thought that there would be a career path for her. So she went through and did an internship, then she went over to the USA, but at the same time, things then started to change in Saudi Arabia. And they were basically able to start practicing law. When she was going into the courts, like judges were not happy that women were representing clients.
Oh, wow.
And she was saying basically that she had two options. She could either quit or continue, ignore it and move forward. And that's what she chose to do. As she was one of the first wave of the women practicing law in Saudi Arabia, there was no female figures to guide her. Because she was basically one of the first. But she was also just saying about how lawyers go through those ups and downs in terms of confidence, but to always walk into a room, and she was always walking into a room where she was either junior or she was a female, so she wasn't necessarily getting that respect, and it was very intimidating. However, she said like she just basically combated that with making sure that she was always prepared, knowing what she was actually going to say and what she was talking about, being confident and considering herself as an equal. So I thought it was a really cool article to touch upon.
Definitely. Wow, that sounds amazing. And what a tough time to be able to, like you say, so many people would have just been like, nah, I can't deal with this. But yeah, to persevere is amazing. Cool. Okay, so the person that I'm going to talk about is Ruth Ginsburg. So she attended Harvard Law School, and she graduated with a degree from Columbia. And she dedicated to fighting gender-based equality, including co-founding the Women's Rights Project at the American Civil Liberties Union. She became an Associate Justice of the US Supreme Court from 1999 until her death, which was last year in 2020. And she was actually the second Justice of the US Supreme Court. And just on, the fight for equality, a couple of quotes that she said is, "I ask no favor for my sex. All I ask of our brethren is that they take their feet off our necks." I thought that was pretty powerful. And then she said, "Feminism is the notion that we should each be free to develop our own talents and not be held back by man-made barriers." And that's exactly what they are. They're man-made barriers. Totally agree. So she's incredible.
That's a great one. What's her name again?
Ruth Ginsburg.
Yeah.
You'll recognize her. You Google her, you will recognize her. Yeah, as soon as I saw it. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually forgot about looking in. I remembered about her, and then it just slipped my mind to look into her. But yeah, she was incredible.
Definitely. Cool. Okay.
So my next one is the Delhi High Court Judge Justice Pratibha M. Singh. And I just got some comments on what she says to women that are going into law. So she said about women being competent to give up Bollywood movies and parlor time and dedicate your time to law. Pick your battles and don't fight everything. And I think that was great advice. Further to that, she said, and I think this is really, really key for women in male-dominated industries. She said, not to seek sympathy from the court or from lawyers on the other side or even your own clerk. You don't have to tell them that my child is unwell or I have to go and collect my daughter from school. Don't do that. It creates stereotypes. And I thought, do you know what? For just in male-dominated industries, especially, I think in general, it is such a key point.
I'm actually gonna bring that up. I'm currently on a 2-day diversity, equity, and inclusion conference. And I might see if there's some way I can bring that in to a discussion, maybe, even if it's not at the conference, but we do hold a lot of meetings on it. That is such a good topic because it's almost like you see women feel they need to apologize. Oh, I have to pick my daughter up or my son up from nursery, like apologizing for that fact. Wow.
And that is what creates those stereotypes. That is why people are saying, oh, should we put this woman into a leadership position, blah, blah. Do you get what I'm saying? But if we stop giving that energy, there can't be a stereotype against us. Do you get what I'm saying? I thought it was brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow. I really like that. All right. So my final person then is Sonia Sotomayor. She's the first Hispanic and Latina Supreme Court justice. She's the third woman to be an associate justice. She was born to Puerto Rican parents, and she was actually diagnosed with diabetes when she was a little girl, and she didn't think that she would live past 50. But here she is today, with a degree from Yale Law School, an advocate for equal rights, justice, and gender equality. And she obviously uses her position in Supreme Court to lend a voice to gender equality issues. And a quote I'm going to share from her is, when a young person, even a gifted one, grows up without proximate living examples of what she may aspire to become, whether lawyer, scientist, artist, or leader in any realm, her goal remains abstract. Such models as appear in books or on the news, however inspiring or revered, are ultimately too remote to be real, let alone influential. But a role model in the flesh provides more than inspiration. His or her very existence is confirmation of possibilities one may have every reason to doubt, saying, yes, someone like me can do this.
Boy, mic drop.
Amazing.
And you know what, like, I love that quote because it's just another like validation. And I'm not saying that we need validation for what we're doing, but it's so true. Like, and that's what we want to bring to the forefront. Show role models,
people,
real life people in today's day and age, like still alive in 2021. Yes, you can draw off the experience of those that have come before, but people that are actually doing it today, people that have come from nothing, no handouts, no nothing, and still been able to achieve 100%. In real life, that can give real lessons.
100%.
Thank you so much for tuning in. That's the end of this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been your girl, Bex.
And I've been Carly. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode, and we will see you next week.
Peace.